one. This isn't the story that got rejected. This is one I've been working on for 5+ years, turning into a novella. But so for the one I'm going to talk about, I never talk about stories. I haven't even printed it out and looked at it yet. I just wrote it on a laptop. But it was like a good bank robbery, the experience, in and out quick. Nobody got hurt. I want to thank Jake at Post Mortem. This is channel. All the channel names are linked below. But it was for the new anthology, Weird Frequencies 2. And my number one tip for new writers sending their stuff out for publication: know your audience. The story that I sent out did not. I want to thank Jacob for giving me some comments and criticisms on the story. It's pretty unusual for an editor, so thanks again, But I've read some of the stories in the book, and they're wild as hell, and longer than mine, more sci-fi. I read like Chris's from Liminal Spaces. He wrote his pretty quick too. I read Andrea's from Infinite Text, and I read Virgil's. And their channels are linked below. I read it on my Kindle, and there's no comparison. I don't want to get into this topic so much as because I want to talk about some prison novels, two that I've talked about fairly often, and one that I have never talked about. My story was short, prison story, and the weirdness of the story was, it came from reality. I was in, the last time I was in prison in Arizona was in Tucson, Cimarron. Medium security goes from like minimum, medium, and then maximum, and then super max. So I made it up to the big boys after 4 tries of drunk mouth. I would get not officially charged with that, but that's what happened. The cops would beat me up and charge me with ag assault. I'm not trying to excuse my behavior, but after the second time, I had priors, couldn't take it to the box to trial, 2 against 1, 2 officers against me. I had to sign a plea bargain. So after 4 times, I made it up to minimum. So it's set in that, and I saw a dead body for the first time outside of a funeral. It was all blue. This is before the nasal thing, naltrexone, I think. And it was a Mexican, a raza, meaning a Mexican American. And the whites got along with that race at the time. Prison is all totally segregated. Not totally, but very much. I won't get into that either. So a Mexican cop, I'll tell the story. They were all gathered in one cell that had Ross's cell, and they were doing heroin. Okay, one fell out. One of the guys, he stopped breathing. They all left the building. They left the cell. The cops knew something was up, so they rushed in. They dragged him out, did CPR, and my dad's a retired fighter paramedic. I'd never seen CPR done before. You got to do it vigorously, and the dude did. Meaning the officer did, and he brought him back to life. And so we were locked down, so we're watching through small door, me and my cellie. He's got his eyes here, and I'm like looking over there. We had a corner cell. See, anyway, they brought him back to life. So much so he waited for the stretcher, his back against the cell, going, "Damn, what WTF happened to me?" So he was like alive when they took him out, and we thought it'd be a week or two, and we'd be on lockdown. When you're on medium security, half the pot is locked down for the morning and the afternoon, unless you have a job. Then you go do your job. So they brought him back, and there was another big meeting in the cell. We thought he'd be gone for a week or so in the hospital. He wasn't. It was like the next day they brought him back, put him in the same damn cell. And there was a big argument in the cell. This is where the fiction takes license. Anyway, before they took us off lockdown, there's things called cell warriors, where you talk shit. They were talking Spanish to each other. And I looked up the Spanish and made sure it was all correct, but like using words like punta and worse. Your mother was, stuff like that, but shouting insults. And then they took us off lockdown. All the wrestlers went into the cell, beat him up, the guy who died, and killed him. They put us on lockdown again and took him out in a sheet this time. So that was where the weird part was. But there's no sci-fi. It's based in reality. So am I going to tune the story up, make it longer? Possibly. Print it out and make, red markings all over it. And you got to put on a different address. Well, I haven't lived in this address in a long time. When Greg visited me in Portland, we walked by that address several times. Let me know if you've read these prison novels. Buddy read this with Greg. He liked it. He liked it. It's a wild jailhouse romp. And I've talked about Homeboy many times. We also group read, I think, this Hard Rain Falling. I read it my second time. It starts out in Portland, but ends up in prison in California. San Quentin. I remember that. A lot of people like that novel. This is a John Cheever novel, Falconer. It's like an old school, old time prison. There's a mention of Toledo, Ohio, place I was born, the city I was born in. I need to reread this novel. I've got like a dog ear on the bottom of this page. I don't know why. Boy, it's an old novel. Yeah, it's a really old novel, hardback, but almost like falling apart with those edges, the old edges, the old. Let me know if, I know a lot of people are into crime fiction, but prison novel specifically, it's late here in Portland. By late, I mean early, 3 a.m. So, I'm not discouraged. I look forward to reading the Weird Frequencies too, and thanks again, Jake, for your time and your consideration, and thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Take care.